My girlfriend of 3 years. She's tormenting me now after the beginning of our relationship was amazing, telling me I will pay for her siblings to go to school, or else. Sarah and I met in college. We were both studying business. We were just normal colleges, going about our normal school lives. I was always focused on hardworking, and this made Sarah develop a liking for me. Sarah had always been a hopeless romantic. She spent her days lost in the pages of her favorite novels, dreaming of the day when she would meet her own happily ever after. One day, while walking through the park, she came across a handsome stranger who caught her eye. I don't mean to brag, but I was everything Sarah ever wanted in a man. Sarah mustered up the courage to strike up a conversation with me, and as we talked, she felt a strong connection with me. She could not believe how easily we fell into each other's lives, as if it was meant to be. As the days went by, Sarah and I grew closer and closer. We spent every moment together, talking about our hopes, dreams, and, well, everything in between. One evening, we decided to take a walk through the city. The air was cool and the sky was filled with stars, and we enjoyed the peaceful silence as we walked hand in hand. As we reached the quiet park, Sarah suddenly stopped and turned to me, saying, "I have something I want to tell you," she said, looking at me with a serious expression. "Well, what is it, Sarah?" Sensing the importance of the moment. "I love you," Sarah said, with her voice filled with emotion. "I know we've only been dating for a short time, but I can't imagine my life without you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you." Well, I was overwhelmed with joy at Sarah's words. I took her in my arms and said, "Listen, Sarah, I really like you, but I think we're moving just a little too fast. I'm sorry, but I can't for now." Well, I didn't think it would, but it broke her. Sarah was broken. What was I thinking, she thought. She was, however, mature enough to understand where I was coming from, and she agreed that we would just remain friends and see how things would play out. Finally, on a warm summer night under the stars, I took Sarah's hand, got down on my knee, and I said, "Sarah, I've fallen in love with you too, and I can't imagine my life without you. Will you be my girlfriend?" Tears of joy streamed down her face, and she said yes. She knew that she had found her happily ever after, and she couldn't wait to spend the rest of her life with the man she loved. From that moment on, me and Sarah were inseparable. We spent our time together exploring the city and just building our future together. We supported each other in our careers and dreams, and our love only grew stronger with each passing day. A year later, as we stood together on the beach watching the sunset, we knew that we had found we were happily ever after. Or had we? What's up, guys? Mr. Redito here. So this is a very interesting story today. The original poster of this story posted this with 11 updates. And guys, it's in a timeline that goes along with OP's life. This one's crazy. Let's get into chapter 2. One of the things that my girlfriend and I loved the most about our relationship was our ability to have fun together. We always made an effort to try new things and go on exciting adventures, whether it hiking or mountaineering or exploring a new city. One of our most memorable outings, it was a weekend trip to a nearby beach town. We rented a cute little cottage by the sea and spent our days lounging on the beach, swimming in the ocean, and exploring the local shops and restaurants. We also took a romantic sunset walk along the pier, holding hands and enjoying the sound of waves crashing against the shore. Another one of our favorite activities was going on dates. We loved dressing up and going out to a fancy steakhouse every now and then, or where you could just enjoy a delicious meal and a bottle of wine while chatting and laughing with each other. We also enjoyed more low-key dates, like picnics in the park or evenings at a cozy coffee shop. No matter what we did, we always made an effort to connect and spend some quality time together. One of our most memorable dates was when we decided to take a hot air balloon ride at the sunrise. As we floated above the clouds, we sipped champagne and watched the sunrise over the beautiful landscape. It was truly magical and romantic experience that I will never forget. After said balloon ride, we enjoyed a leisurely breakfast at a charming outdoor cafe before spending the rest of the day exploring a nearby botanical garden. It was the perfect combination of adventure and relaxation, and we left with more love than ever before. As the years passed, our love for each other only deepened, and we continued to make an effort to go on dates. We tried new things together. I'll tell you about one more exciting adventure we did. It was bungee jumping off a bridge in New Zealand. The thrill of the jump brought me closer together, and we laughed and hugged each other, and when it was over, we also enjoyed more laid-back stuff, just like stargazing and whatnot. No matter what we did, we always made sure to prioritize our relationship and make time for each other. And our love continued to grow stronger with each passing day. At home, we enjoyed movie nights on the couch, cuddled up under a warm blanket and a bowl of popcorn, and our favorite films. And one day, we decided to go to a cabin. We couldn't wait to start exploring all the new possibilities that awaited. We lit candles, got romantic, set the mood with soft music, even brought along a couple of bottles of wine. You're probably wondering why I'm telling you all this stuff. Well, that's because I'm telling you the good memories. All the good memories that I had with Sarah. Unfortunately, they didn't last very long. Update number 3, the switch up. As time passed, I could see it. I noticed with my own eyes, my girlfriend Sarah started to slowly change. She became more demanding, materialistic, wanting my money more and more. Just wants the best of everything. She can't settle for anything less than a steakhouse. She would often insist on going to these fancy restaurants, demanding the most expensive items on the menu regardless of whether or not we could afford them. I tried to understand where this behavior was coming from, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't seem to make her happy. Our disagreements became more frequent as Sarah's spending habit continued to escalate. She'd frequently go shopping, come home with bags full of clothes, shoes, and accessories. Oh, and they were high-end brands using my credit cards. But she would just brush me off, telling me that I should be happy to see her happy. Despite not even having a job, Sarah refused to consider finding employment. She insisted that she did not need to work and that it was more important for her to focus on herself and her appearance. Well, this put a strain on our relationship, and I was the sole breadwinner, and we were struggling to keep up with the bills. One day, I was going through my bank statements and noticed some strange charges. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that my partner Sarah had been stealing money from me for months to fund her extravagant shopping sprees and vacations. When I confronted her about it, she initially denied it, but the evidence was damning. She finally broke down and admitted to taking the money. But instead of an apology and promising to make things right, she dared to justify her actions. Well, I was angry. I'd always trusted her and have never suspected that she would do something like this, but because the love I had for her, I guess I just let it slide, while being a little more observant. Update number 4, titled The Pressure. As the years went by, the constant criticism and pressures from Sarah's and her parents took a heavy toll on me. Despite my best efforts to meet our demands, I always felt like I was just falling short and never good enough for Sarah. I tried my hardest to provide for her and her siblings, but it seemed like no matter what I did, it was just never enough to please my girlfriend or her family. Sarah would often belittle and insult me, saying that I was incapable of paying bills and managing my finances like a man. She threatened to leave me if I didn't do exactly as she said, and would often make demands that were beyond my means. She was turning into an absolute nightmare, but I still loved her. I was feeling overwhelmed and stressed, and I found myself turning to alcohol as a way to cope with the constant pressure. I would drink more and more often, trying to numb the feelings of inadequacy and failure to seem just to haunt me every turn I made in my life. My relationship with Sarah and her parents became strained. We would constantly criticize and belittle my actions, making me feel like I was never good enough. I tried my best to meet our demands, but it seemed like nothing I did was ever enough. Despite the difficulties I faced, I did remain determined to provide, and I never messed up at my job or let my career down. I knew I made a promise to Sarah, and I was just determined to see it through, no matter how difficult that may be. Update number 5, the siblings. Well, hey guys, you've probably heard about my story by now, but me and Sarah, we've been together for 5 years. At first, it was unbelievable, ecstatic, happy relationship. However, Sarah had always been very materialistic and often asked me for money to buy expensive stuff. One day, Sarah approached me and asked for money to train her siblings in the university. I was surprised by the request because it was so much money and asked her why she needed that much. Sarah told me that her siblings were struggling financially and needed help with our education. I was definitely hesitant as it was most of our savings. I was facing some financial problems of my own. I told her that I wasn't able to help her siblings at the moment. But Sarah didn't understand. She became very angry and aggressive and insisted that I give her the money no matter what. Despite my reservations, I eventually relented, gave Sarah the money as she needed. The money I gave Sarah was to help her siblings start something. Hard work. Something that would provide money to assist them in our education. However, I soon began to regret my decision of giving the money to Sarah, as my own financial problems seemed to be looming over me and getting worse like a dark rain cloud. I had this hunch that Sarah was just stealing from me, but I ignored it. Let's fast forward 3 years. Sarah's siblings finally graduated from university, and it was with top grades. I was happy for them, but I couldn't help but wonder where all my money has gone. I'd given Sarah a large sum of money, but I'd never seen any evidence that it's been used to set aside a hustle for her siblings, or a side business, or heck, even start their career. One day, I received a message from Adam, which is Sarah's brother. In the message, Adam thanked me for all the financial support I'd been providing over the years. I was shocked by the message and couldn't believe what I was reading. Well, I confronted Sarah about the issue, but she denied any wrongdoing with the money. She told me that she had used the money to set up her siblings' side hustle just as she had promised. I was left in a state of confusion and depression. I didn't know what to believe or who to trust. Had Sarah really stolen from me to pay for her siblings' education? Or was there some other explanation? The suspense was killing me, and I knew I had to find out the truth. Update number 6. The investigation. I couldn't shake the feeling of suspicion and betrayal that had taken a hold of me. I couldn't believe that Sarah, the woman I'd loved and trusted for oh so many years, could have lied to me and stolen from me. I decided to go do some digging and see if I could find out the truth. I started speaking to Adam, Sarah's brother, and asking about the financial support that I received. Adam confirmed that I and my siblings had received a lot of financial help from Sarah, but I had no idea where the money had come from. I realized that I needed to get to the bottom of this mystery, and I knew that I needed help. I confided in a close friend who suggested that I hire a private investigator. I was hesitant at first, but I knew that it was the only way to find out the truth. So I hired the investigator and waited anxiously for the results. A week later, the investigator came back with some shocking news. Sarah did indeed steal the money and paid for her siblings' education. She'd been secretly transferring money from my accounts into her own, just when I thought she was only using my credit cards. I was devastated by the news. I couldn't believe that Sarah literally lied to me, stole from me, and took advantage of me, and just in such a manipulative and deceitful way. So I confronted her about the investigation and demanded an explanation. Sarah broke down in tears and admitted that she'd been desperate to help her siblings, and she'd seen no other way to do it. She apologized to me and begged me for my forgiveness, but I was too hurt and angry to even consider it. I was left with a difficult decision to make. I knew that I couldn't just forget about what happened, but I also didn't want to throw away 5 years of love. I decided to take some time to think through stuff, get some therapy, and figure out what's best for me in my future. The suspense was palpable as I struggled with emotions and tried to come to a decision. Would I be able to forgive Sarah and move on, or would I decide to end the relationship once and for all? Update: the ultimatum. As we sat on the couch together, I couldn't help but feel a sense of dread wash over me. I'd been struggling with my girlfriend demanding and materialistic behavior for months, and I'd finally decided it was time to have a serious conversation with Sarah. I took a deep breath and began to speak, trying to choose my words carefully. I said, "I love you, and I want to make you happy." But I can't just blindly fulfill every one of your requests. I have my own values and beliefs, and I need to stand up for them. It's not fair to either of us if I just constantly give in to your demands no matter how much I love you. My girlfriend looked at me with a mixture of anger and hurt in her eyes, and she said, "What are you saying? What are you saying? Are you saying that you don't care about me? That you don't want to see me happy?" I shook my head to try to convey my love and concern. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I love you more than anything, and I want to make you happy. But I can't just constantly buy you expensive gifts and bend to your every whim. It's not healthy or sustainable. We need to find a balance and work on our relationship together. My girlfriend crossed her arms and looked away, clearly upset, saying, "I can't believe you're saying this. I feel you don't care about me or my family at all. I deserve someone who'll give me everything I want." My heart sank as I heard those words. I knew that she was hurt and angry, but I couldn't just give her demands. I stood my ground, hoping that she would understand my perspective. But instead of listening, my girlfriend got up from the couch and stormed out of the room. I sat there feeling confused and hurt as I tried to understand what had just happened. I'd hoped that we could have a productive conversation and work on our relationship, but instead, it seemed like things have only gotten worse. After a few minutes, my girlfriend returned to the room, a stern look on her face, saying, "I can't believe you're being so stubborn. I'm going to give you an ultimatum. Either you start fulfilling my every desire or we're done. I deserve someone who will give me everything I want, and if you can't do that, I'll find somebody else." This ultimatum was devastating and completely ridiculous. I mean, I loved her more than anything, and she's my whole world. But just blindly fulfilling her every desire, well, I knew I had to stand up for myself and my values, even if it meant risking everything. I took a deep breath, looked her in the eyes, and said this: "I'm sorry, but I can't just give in to your ultimatum. I love you, and I want to make you happy, I really do. But I can't just constantly buy you expensive gifts, completely emptying my bank account and bend to your every whim. I have my own values, and I need to stand for them. I hope you can understand that. Update: the breakup." Well, I knew it. I should have known it from the get-go, literally. Sarah has always been a manipulator. But her ultimatum was the straw that broke the camel's back for I did love her. I just couldn't do it. Despite this, I tried making things right, and I did once more try to reconcile with Sarah. I apologized for my mistakes that I've made and begged her to just give our relationship one more go. Sarah was stubborn as ever. She was determined to get what she wanted, and she would not let anything stand in her way. So, she broke up with me, leaving me heartbroken and devastated. I tried to move on with life and focus on my business, but it was difficult, and I started slipping up at work. I just couldn't stop thinking about Sarah and the love we shared. I missed her terribly, and I wish that things could just be different. Update: the aftermath. Well, guys, I'm writing this as my final update. This is a chapter in my life that I'm ready to put behind me. I haven't talked to Sarah in a year. I've heard through the grapevine that she's having a new relationship and she's actually pregnant. Well, for me, I got a new girlfriend. It was the Starbucks barista that was always in my ear. I just asked her out. I said, "Whatever, go for it, bro." Well, we've been dating for a few months now, and she's absolutely incredible. I just wanted to make this update to tell you guys I thank you so much for all the comments and advice that you gave me over this whole bunch of chapters. Well, once again, that's it, so thank you for everything, guys. I guess what they say is right. No matter what happens in life, there's always a happy ending. Well, the way this story opened up, I thought this was just going to be a love novel. But it turns out Sarah, well, it didn't seem like they were clicking, as you could tell by the video. Guys, let me know in your opinion what you would have done if you were in OP's position and all of a sudden this meaningful, loveful connection that you have with your relationship just goes straight to heck. Drop your comments down below, guys. Let's talk about it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, smash that subscribe button. My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories every single day, and I have more than one channel, which you can find in the description below. Guys, have an amazing day, and I'll catch you in the next one.